How many countries at war today are run by female leaders? How many female leaders in history have started wars or started aggression? And you see a lot of organisations globally get in the absolute shit. And who gets them out of it? It's a female leader.
So I had my head injury, and then one of my very best friends, Di, had breast cancer. And so she's not meant to be here. She's given 365 days to live, and this was like 14 years ago. But she had a mastectomy, just one though. So she was super self-conscious, getting changed in like a changing room or at the beach or wherever, to the point where she just stopped swimming, and she loves swimming. So I gave her a towelly, and it like literally changed her world. She got back swimming. She was like swimming at the side of the lake. Like she had one in the car. Wherever she went past water, she'd be in it. And so that, I was like, okay, cool. This is wild because it's just a towelly, but it's had such an impact on her life. So this was kind of like the brainchild of like, show us your tits campaign, which we got our customers to draw their boobs and just kind of like, I don't know, like a new dye had it. I know the statistics. In New Zealand, it's 1 in 9. In Australia, I think it's 1 in 7 women get breast cancer, and guys get it too. So like I knew the statistics. I knew there would be a lot. And if I thought about how many customers we have, I don't know. I guess I just didn't expect the influx of boobs that come into our emails and the stories with them. And poor Rach, who's one of our customer service chicks, she spent the day crying down there replying to emails because the stories coming in were so sad and heartfelt, and so many people have been affected by this. And like one family sent their mum, their dad, and their daughter had all had it, which is wild. But yeah, anyway, we cleaned all the boobs, weaved them into a towel poncho, and we are giving 100% of profits to the Breast Cancer Foundation here in New Zealand.
Phenomenal.
So
yep.
We had a goal of 25 grand. We're at 35 now, which is really cool. But the impact that has had on our brand as well, you know, I didn't do it because I wanted people to love us. I did it because I wanted people to be able to change freely at the beach again, you know, and people that have been impacted by breast cancer. But I also did it because we've made the design quite subtle. So it's like a dark pink and a light pink. And if you saw someone from afar, you're like, oh, they're wearing a patterned towel. Cool. But if you get up close and look past them, you're like, mate, they're covered in boobs. And then that's a whole conversation, right? Around like the importance of self-checking and raising awareness around it. And we had a photo shoot with some of the ladies that had drawn the boobs who were breast cancer survivors, and I just spent the day crying. Like the realness of these ladies, they were so outside of their comfort zone. They didn't want photos. They did, like they said yes, they came. I didn't make them. But just the courage to be here to do it for themselves, for other people going through it, for their friends that didn't make it, you know. And it's, yeah, I just think it's been one of the coolest things we've done in business to be able to give back. But I also think it's one of the coolest things we've done in terms of like customers loving your brand, you know, like.
Well, it's being relatable and getting people to resonate with a cause, a brand, but it also shows, as you said, right, your organization, your brand has always been heart-led right from the start, right? And that's, people can feel that. And when they can feel that passion and that kind of heart for business, for people, for causes, they attach themselves to that, because there's so many brands out there that it's just about the dollars, it's just about the numbers.
Totally. And there's so many brands that just drop shipped. And I'm not saying we're killing it. This business is way bigger than us, obviously. But there is a stat, and I should know it, but it's something like, it's along the lines of women-founded businesses often generate way higher returns, and they get, in terms of venture capitalist funding and stuff, they produce way higher returns for that wasn't explained very well, but you know, because they lead with their heart. I know that sounds so airy-fairy, but there are some, like Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Do you know her in America? And when she sold that, she gave like all of her staff like 25 grand or something.
Yep.
So freaking cool. How many businesses are doing that? Not many.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting, and it, you know, I was having a conversation with my mum last night actually, and we were talking about. We were actually watching the movie One Life with Anthony Hopkins, and I don't know if you've seen that, but it's definitely an amazing movie to watch. I think it was a 2023 movie, and he basically, back in the Holocaust, back in World War II, kind of got kids out of Czechoslovakia, and how hard it was and how he fought. But you'll have to watch the movie. I'm not going to give you or the listeners too much away if they haven't seen it, but it's definitely one that really kind of made me think around the world today. And I said to my mum, can I just say, how many countries at war today are run by female leaders?
Yeah, that's interesting, eh? Although not everyone was a fan when we had Jacinda in power here.
But she didn't start any wars.
She certainly didn't start any wars, and she, I think, rightly so, kept us locked down and kept COVID out of here for quite some time. But that's very profound, isn't it? Like, that's pretty wild. There's a lot of war going on.
How many female leaders in history have started wars or started aggression?
Oh, I couldn't. I've never thought about that.
Yeah. I had that reflection last night, and I went, because for me, I think, and it's interesting because I see a lot of organizations, and you see a lot of organizations globally get in the absolute shit. And who gets them out of it? It's a female leader, and I think it's because of that heart, and it's because of maybe possibly more empathy. But I think the approach is different. And I think, I see even in Australia, we've seen organizations that have just got themselves into the shit. They come in with a female CEO. The female CEO gets them back up and running again. And then a male takes over, and it's like, it amazes me. And I think males and females both have their strengths. But yeah, that reflection on how many female leaders have started wars, or how many countries at war or in major problems now are run by female leaders. And you mentioned Jacinda Ardern, but for me, she was still very heart-led in what she did. She may not have been popular, and not popular towards the end, but she was very much heart-led, and she didn't really change her values on what she felt was right.
No, I completely agree with that. And she was really popular. She got in for a second term, right? But I think, obviously I can't speak for anyone else, but I think the reason she didn't get in a third term is sometimes it's easier to just, because a lot of it was around people thought she left the country in a financial hole, right? But also we haven't been in that many global pandemics. And the other thing I would say on that is, sometimes it's easier to look outside for someone to win something, someone else's reason for your problems, instead of maybe we should look inward and what else can we do should we start a side hustle? What should we do if we're worried about money? But it's quite easy to just be like, it's the government's fault, isn't it?
Yep.
But yeah, I think Jacinda Ardern, she stayed true to her the entire time, and she led with her heart. And yeah, I felt very lucky that we had her as the Prime Minister during that time.
And I think that if you think about anyone that serves, the energy, the focus, and there is a huge drain that takes, and over 2 terms, almost 3 terms, it does take its toll. Basically the sacrifice that people in leadership positions, and even we talk about, the sacrifice just in running a business, takes a huge toll on you to actually serve other people and provide, in your case, a product for other people.
Yeah, I agree. It's really interesting.
On that point, Debs.
Not for me. I don't fucking be Prime Minister. You know, like it is. Yeah. It's such a thankless job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.